Alright, so today is the last day of June 2024, so that means today I'm going to rank every June 2024 movie that I have seen. Alright, that's right. So June was a complicated month for movies because on one hand, there's been a lot of disappointments. Two of these movies are some of my biggest disappointments of the year. And then like the middle section of this video are going to be some pretty big surprises that I had that I thought were pretty good. But then like higher up is a little bit of disappointment. It's going to be kind of hard to explain in there. But once we get in here, I'm sure it'll all make sense. Just if you know like, hey, how come he gave this video, he talked more positives about this movie instead of this movie. It's because one movie I found to be pretty disappointing. The other movie I thought was pretty good. And so before we get started, please make sure to comment down below what is your ranking of every June movie you saw. Right down there, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell so you don't miss another video. We're at 177, get to 200 by the middle of July. Special video coming for you guys. Real quick, because I forgot to move these from my studio, my mom bought me these. The People magazine. They have interviews to Ryan Reynolds by Hugh Jackman, and then Hugh Jackman was interviewed by Ryan Reynolds. So I read them, pretty fun. If you want to check them out, there's that. But I forgot to move them. Figured I'd give them my plug, and let's go ahead and run through this one. So coming in last place, 6th place for me, I am going to go with Hitman. My most disappointing movie of the year so far. Not because it's a bad movie, I actually think it's quite good, but because people were saying that this movie was better than Challengers, better than all these movies that were acclaimed to be top of the year, which I've seen and thought they were pretty great. I have not seen Challengers yet, it's on the radar, but movies that I've seen thought were pretty great. This movie has been claimed to be better than those, and when I sat down to watch it, I got a good time. I thought it was a better Netflix movie, but I didn't feel anything that other people were feeling. I didn't think it was top tier movie 2024. I thought it was good. The only thing I could say that is top tier, number one, is the performances. Glen Powell, great actor. Everybody on screen was great. And it leads up to the performances with the one scene where they have the phone and they're typing that out and they both have to show off their acting skills. I think that's a fantastic scene. That's the best part of the movie. But the rest of the movie is just watchable. It's fun. It can be funny. It has multiple kind of layers to it, to where one part's like a romance, one part's a comedy, and then one part's like real dark actual spy stuff in there. And so I enjoyed the real dark stuff much better than the other stuff, but I thought the other stuff was fun too. And it's just a fine movie. And that's all it had to be. And so when people are just talking this up, saying it's a masterpiece, and I just watch it and watch a good movie, it's kind of disappointing there. One thing I did not like about the movie was the very ending, where Glen Powell decides to kill a cop, because it felt very unnatural for him, because he killed a cop. This guy is a cop. He's a good guy, and he killed a cop for this girl he loved. Like, yeah, the cop was a douchebag, but I don't feel as if I don't feel as if it was worth it. I don't feel as if it felt in character for Glen Powell's character, and it kind of felt to me just a little bit like Lisa Frankenstein, where that's a movie where our character kind of did some bad decisions by the end, and it's supposed to be good, it's unique, but it just felt unnatural because it left a sour taste in your mouth because you left off on just such bleak note. And so I just didn't really dig the ending. Besides that, pretty good movie. Disappointing because it wasn't a perfect movie like a lot of people have told me. Number 5, let's go with Bad Boys, Ride or Die, the 4th film in this franchise. Another disappointing one for me because I watched all the Bad Boys movies a week before watching this one. And I thought the Bad Boys franchise was really fun. I watched the entire franchise and thought it was a blast. The first movie a little bit forgettable, but the second and third movie has a great story. Second movie has so many iconic scenes, dark scenes that blow my mind that actually got put to screen. And so I just was really looking forward to this movie. Same people who did the third movie, which had a great story, great twists and turns in there, and just overall probably the best one story and narrative-wise of this franchise. And I get this one, and it's another fun but kind of forgettable Bad Boys movie. It's got the character dynamics with Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. They're always fun. It's got the laughs. It's got the action. It's got everything you want to have a summer blockbuster, and it's entertaining for that. But literally like a couple hours, I went to see a double feature with this and The Watchers. We'll talk about The Watchers here in a minute. But I went to see a double feature, and literally in between that, I went to Waffle House. And I was sitting there literally half an hour after I watched this movie, and I was thinking, okay, I remember that scene. I remember individual scenes, but what was the story about again? What was the story here? And literally, I think this is the most forgettable Bad Boys movie, to where it hasn't even been a month, obviously, because we're doing the monthly ranking now. But it just, there's nothing that sticks out here. I remember the chemistry. I remember there's a gator in the end. I remember the action sequence in the end is fun. I remember individual pieces from the movie. There's nothing that just sticks out. Right here, I remember the Bad Boys 2. I remember everything about that movie because that was a blast. That was ridiculous. It was stupid. But most of all, it was memorable. Bad Boys 3. I remember everything about Bad Boys for Life because it's memorable. This movie just feels like another blockbuster thrown out to watch. And you can enjoy watching it for a couple hours, but it doesn't leave a lasting impact. And so it's easily the weakest of the franchise, I think, in my personal opinion. Still fun, but kind of weak. Next up, we got the Bike Riders. This is a movie about the Vandals from the 1960s and 70s in Chicago, starring Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, Norman Reedus. Stacked cast here that I don't fully feel lives up to the hype. In fact, some people have told me that I'm an idiot right there when I said that Austin Butler kind of disappointed me in here. He felt distant. He didn't feel like a great character. He definitely wasn't the standout in this movie. The standout to me was Tom Hardy because I love Tom Hardy and he's charming as always. Jodie Comer's pretty great in this movie, but there's some cast members that just don't really stand out. This is a surprise of the year for me. I really liked this movie. I really did. Some things that I really liked about it were the fact that it always kind of moves at a brisk pace. There obviously is the 10-minute sequences that can kind of drag, but there's not as much of those as in normal movies like this. There's a brisk pace here. It's always interesting. It tells a story that personally I was interested in. Again, characters that are pretty charming. There's always a little twist or something that happens here that even if you start to drift off, you're like snap right back to attention like, that just happened. Okay, so it's pretty good. It's an entertaining movie, and when movies like this I don't fully find entertaining, when I find one to be really entertaining and pretty good, it's kind of a shocker, and I thought this one was pretty entertaining and pretty good, and it's under 2 hours, so again, it moves at that brisk pace. And then, whether for better or worse that it's under 2 hours, you might think it's worse because it doesn't fulfill the story. I felt like the story was completed, but it just doesn't feel like you've been sitting in the theater seat for so long. It feels like you've been sitting there for the 2 hours, then you're out. And I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie for it. I thought this was a solid movie, and I recommend it to you guys. Another surprise of the year. And another surprise of the year, we're going third place, which is The Watchers, a M. Night Shyamalan's new movie. She is the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan. And so M. Night is my least favorite director of all time. I do not like M. Night Shyamalan. There's a couple movies I like. I like The Sixth Sense. I like Signs. I like The Visit. I love Knock at the Cabin. I thought Knock at the Cabin was really good. But overall, just so many movies of his just fall flat for me. And even though I'm really looking forward to Trap, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think the trailers for Trap look great. I'm really looking forward to that movie. I'm just nervous because it's M. Night. Anywho, we're talking about The Watchers here. I had no expectations going to this one. I don't know what M. Night Shyamalan's going to bring to the table. And the first act of this movie is god-awful. It's terrible. There's literally scenes where the girl, when we're trying to get the point across here, she's literally just like combing her hair, looks at a bird and says, or no, she's not combing her hair, she's putting on a wig to try to show that she just doesn't like herself. She puts on a wig, she looks at the bird and says, "What?" I can't have secrets. I'm sure you have secrets. That's a real line of dialogue. And spoiler alert, the plot line about not liking yourself does not go anywhere. It is one sequence in this movie, and then it's just completely forgotten about. But once we get past that first act, the movie kind of turns into an intriguing thriller where we're in this cabin in the woods and you want to know what's actually happening. You want to know what the monsters look like. You want to know why you're there. And I thought the answers were kind of a good payoff. When we get to the sequence when they go down in the bunker and they start watching the videos, I thought that was a good payoff. And even though people said that in the very end, the twist didn't quite work for them, I thought it was fine. It's not revolutionary. It's not big like M. Night's twists, so it doesn't completely flip the table. I thought it was fine. It was a fine twist. Didn't really affect me that much. I thought the cast here was pretty good, and the creature design was really cool. I was sitting in the theater, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think the movie's necessarily scary. It doesn't stick in my head, and it doesn't freak me out, but I got little chills when I saw them creatures. I thought they looked pretty cool. So again, another surprising movie that I didn't think I would like, especially at the first act. I thought this was gonna be bottom 2 of the year, and it's not gonna be 2. But I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was a solid movie, and it's a surprise of the year. Now here's where the list gets complicated, because in second place is a pretty disappointing movie for me. I liked it. I gave it a positive score. In fact, I literally just reviewed it. The video came out either, if I'm putting this out on Sunday, yesterday, or Monday, Saturday. Anyways, Quiet Place Day 1 is number 2. Found it to be pretty disappointing, but still thought it was a good movie. Go into this one not expecting what you expect. I literally told a friend this, and he went to see it last night, and I literally talked to him, and he was like, yeah, I did not expect it to be like that at all. And I warned him about it because it kind of enhances the experience. When I was watching it for the first hour, I felt pretty disappointed because it felt like we were focusing too much on the characters, and the movie made it really hard for me to personally care about the characters. But I eventually roped around and got to them in the last 20-25 minutes of the movie, because that whole last 40 minutes of the film I think are pretty good, with thrilling monster chase sequences. Obviously, it's a Quiet Place movie, so the monsters look spectacular, and I really did love some thrills here. There's some sequences. There's even jump scares in this movie that I thought were pretty effective, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, there's the thrills. There's and then we get to the emotional moments in the end. And this whole movie's about a man treating a cancer patient to one last hurrah in the middle of the apocalypse. It's the middle of the apocalypse. She's gonna die. She's accepting that she's dying. And it's about a man's kindness in this world that's turning post-apocalyptic. And it's a story that is worth telling, and it's really good in the last 20 minutes, to where it brought a tear to my eye, where it was actually done perfectly in that last 20-25 minutes. So I thought the last 40 minutes were pretty great, and that's what makes it all the way up here. But the first hour just made it really hard to care about the characters, and I felt that this was a huge wasted potential, because we're in New York City, and we're here in the noisiest city, and it doesn't do much with the quietness. So, Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, fantastic movie, by the way. But she gets knocked out, and then she wakes up, and everybody's like, shh, we can't speak. It does an occasional thing, helicopter going by, throwing a rock at a car, your surroundings. That's cool. But the movie itself didn't quite elaborate on what I was hoping it would do. So that first hour, pretty disappointing. Had its highlights, still great monster sequences, thrilling monster sequences, but it made it hard to care about the characters. But I feel like if this was like a short film about showing kindness in this post-apocalyptic Quiet Place world, I would say it was even better, because those last 25-20 minutes, some of the best that this franchise can do. Unfortunately, besides like the last 40 minutes, this film kind of is a massive disappointment. But when we get to the last 40 minutes, it's pretty solid. But first place, and you already knew we were coming here, Inside Out 2, one of my favorite movies of the year. I believe it's number 4 spot right now, and I think this movie is absolutely fantastic. I never liked the first Inside Out until I rewatched it, and then I thought it was a pretty great movie, but it still had occasional issues. Don't think it's a top tier Pixar film. And going into this one, I liked the trailers, but I didn't know how I would respond to it. And I'd say this is a top-tier Pixar film. This is a film that I think every single one of us need to go see. And today, as of the time I'm filming this, it has crossed $1 billion in the box office. So people are going to see this movie. It's deserved to go see the movie because, man, it tells a story that everybody needs to see. Every single one of us have anxiety. We have embarrassment. We have all the emotions that are done here, and it's able to represent all the emotions that a more complex human body is able to experience in such a great way. It shows the good and the bad side of anxiety in a perfect way. And by the time we get to the end of the movie, it's just a great representation of a panic attack. And I think it's absolutely great the way specifically anxiety is represented in this movie. And it also has some really tense sequences, not because they're scary or anything, but because we were middle schoolers at once, every single one of us. And so we've gone through what Riley has gone through, and it just kind of makes you cringe, but in the best way possible, because the movie's able to represent a human life for Riley and show us anxiety, embarrassment, joy, sadness, all the emotions in such a complex way. This improves on everything that the original had. I find the adventure to be more charming. This was just a fantastic movie, one of the best of the year in my opinion, and it's definitely Pixar's best movie in years. What is your ranking of the June movies? Tell me down below in the comment section. I'm gonna have a Quiet Place ranking. That's gonna be hopefully my next video, and then it is July, so I will start having videos like most surprising, most disappointing, best and worst movies. That's a video coming out. I'm gonna rank all the TV shows I got here, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna hopefully watch Despicable Me 4. I'm leaving in a week to go to a mission trip, so I'm hopefully gonna watch Despicable Me 4, gonna have that review, gonna have several more videos coming out to you this week. It's gonna be a busy week. We're gonna try to do Turbo Time, and stay tuned for a Pixar tier list ranking and see where Inside Out 2 is going on the tier list. It's going on S tier. Anywho, alright. Thank you guys for clicking on this video and subscribe to join the Nerd Army. Peace out.